Hello, my name is Neil Cole from Conversion Uplift. Today I'm going to talk you through about how to connect Claude AI to Google Analytics 4 using the MCP or Model Context Protocol. The idea is that we can use AI to connect to GA4 so that we can make inquiries using plain English, which is a lot quicker than having to write SQL or having to create reports in GA4. So what is MCP? Well, it's the Model Context Protocol, originally designed by Anthropic, who built Claude, but is now the open standard for all AI assistants like Claude, ChatGPT, and so forth. So it acts like a translator between Claude and your tool, in this case GA4. The four parts is Claude Desktop, which you'll need. You'll need a GA4 MCP server, which we'll do in a bit, Google Analytics API, and your GA4 property. So why connect through MCP? Well, it's an open standard. We do it as a read-only secure connection, so it can't change anything in GA4, can't delete anything. You can use it for plain English questions and answers, and you can use it for live data. A couple of things to understand is that you'll need a service account. This acts like a robot user, and a JSON key. In terms of what we'll do, you need obviously a PC. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes. The Claude Desktop app, a Google account with admin access, a Google Cloud account, and you don't need any coding experience. So Claude will do this for you. So the first thing that we need to do is check whether Python has been installed on your laptop. So what we'll do, we'll open PowerShell. So if you go to search and type in PowerShell, then click on PowerShell, press enter, and then you can paste or type in Python space then 2 dashes version. This will find out if there's Python on your device and also what version. So it says Python was not found. So we know we've got to install Python. So what we need to do is go to the browser and we want to go to python.org downloads, which is this site here. Now we don't want to do the download Python install manager. We want to do a standalone for Python, depending on whether it's you've got a Windows or Apple machine. Click on standalone and we'll save that. We want to also check whether you've got pipx. So it's similar in PowerShell. We want to just check whether we've got pipx and the version. So again, it's not recognized. So we also need to download that. So we'll go to the download. So go to downloads folder, find the download, double click on it to run it, and we want to customize it, but we want to add the python.exe to the path. So click on that first and then click on customize installation. On the optional features, keep everything checked except for users, which is unchecked anyway, and then click next. So on the advanced options, so we click the unclick the add Python to environment variables, not responding, and we then change the C path to C Python. So it's a simpler, shorter path, less likely to get lost when Claude is looking for it. And then we click on the install button. Once it's installed, you'll see setup was successful, and you may see a disable path length limit. So if you do, click on that and we'll say basically, it then says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? And you say yes, which I just need to move across so you can see that. So yes, you should now see setup was successful. So you can close that. You also need to close PowerShell. You need to open a new window, otherwise it won't recognize that Python has been installed. So we need to open PowerShell again. So we'll just go to search PowerShell. We see that it's a new one. We haven't got any windows open at all at the moment. I'll just drag this across so you can see it, and we're going to paste it in Python version. Now it's saying Python was not found, run without arguments. So this means that Python has been installed, but it's not recognized the path. So we just need to make a few additional changes. So what we can do here is run the full path that we saved it in to see if it actually identifies it. And yes, it has. So it's definitely been installed. It's just that the laptop is not looking in the right folder for Python. So what we need to do now is tell the device where to look for Python. So go to your search bar at the bottom in Windows and type start. Click on the start apps, and then in here find you need the environmental settings. Just need to get it right. Environmental variables, that's it, and click on that. Now here you need to click on path. This is the path that it's looking for, and you can see here that it actually says app data local programs Python, so it's looking for it in the wrong place. Now don't click on new, you want to edit it, and then in here you want to add a new one, a new path. You don't want to change existing paths. In here we just want to put C and the semicolon, and now the backslash, and we want to put Python. Fine, and then you press new again because we want to add another path. So new, it doesn't have to be uppercase, the C or the P for Python. Windows is case insensitive, so we want to put C by the two dots, not a semicolon, and then it's a backslash, and then this time it's Python. Make sure you type it carefully, no spaces, and then you add another backslash, and then you put scripts, and then you press OK. OK again. And that's done. We need to close PowerShell down. We need to open a new PowerShell window, otherwise it won't recognize the changes we've made. Okay, so we're just typing PowerShell. I'll just drag it across, and we'll do the same thing. So Python version. It's still saying it's not found, so let's just check whether we've done it right. So I've identified what the problem is. There are two Microsoft Windows apps entries near the top of the list that you can see there, which are app execution aliases for Python. And because they sit above a C Python, Windows hits the store stub first and prints exactly what Python was not found. So we need to disable this shortcut from the settings app. So that's what I'm going to do next. This is something new I've not come across previously, so it's good to know this, and we've got a solution, so we'll look at that next. So to check if there are any Python aliases enabled, we need to go and have a look in the settings. So let's go to settings, and then we want apps, and we want advanced app settings, and then we want app execution aliases. So that's here, and we want to, and then we search for Python here, and it's no results for Python, which means there aren't any Python aliases enabled, so we don't need to worry about this. So what we probably need to do next is go and change the order of those paths. So we'll just close this down. So to confirm the nature of the problem, if we open another PowerShell window, and if we ask it where.exe space Python, it'll tell us where it is, and it shows the nature of the problem. It firstly looks at the Microsoft Windows app path, and then later it looks at Python/python.exe, which is where we put it. We definitely need to move the paths that we created above the Microsoft Windows apps paths. So to do that, close this off, and we go back to start apps, and it's environmental variables, and then environmental variables for your account. And then it's environmental variables, and we want to go to our paths. So we go to edit, and if we click on the first one, we want to move it up. So move up, move up. We want to go above the Microsoft Windows app, and then we do it the same with the second one. Move up, move up, move up. So they're now above the Microsoft Windows apps. So that should be sufficient. So we just need to OK that change, and OK again, and OK. So that's all done. So the next thing we need to do is, let's close that off, is open a new PowerShell. So let's just check we haven't got any others open. Let's just check. So let's just type in PowerShell. And now we just need to check this, that it's definitely where it should be. So we just need to look for the the instruction, which is Python space version. So let's just put that in here. And it's still not saying it's found, so we'll just check again what's going on. So what we're going to try next is to rename the stuff in PowerShell. So let's open PowerShell. So PowerShell's there. So I'm going to paste this in, which is rename, and this will be in the documentation. That doesn't throw up any errors, which is good news. And then the next one is going to rename the second stub, which may throw up an error. I cannot find path, and that's fine as well. So that's good so far. We're going to now close down PowerShell again, and then open it again. Let's see if this has the desired effect. So I'm going to do these one at a time. Where Python, and we're going to run these two one at a time, and then the other one is Python version. Let's see if this works. It's confirmed it this time, so that seems to work, which is great news. You may not have these issues, but if you do, at least you know what the resolution is. We're now ready to install pipx, which organizes Python folders. So we'll put the first lot of script in, and you click on paste anyway, ignore the warning, that's fine. And then we need to exit PowerShell, so we'll close it, and then we open a new PowerShell window. I'll just drag that across. So we just paste the second block in, and again ignore the warning, paste anyway, that's fine. And then we close it with the X again. So next we're going to install the MCP analytics, and we just open another PowerShell window. And we're going to paste the code from the document from our blog. And once that's done, we'll verify that. So we get the verification script, the pipx list, where.exe analytics MCP. We'll just wait for this to finish installing. That took a few minutes, but now it's finished. We can now verify it with the next script that's in the documentation. Again, ignore the warning, paste anyway, and that confirms what we needed to know. Make a note of the path. So we're just going to press enter to just confirm the path. So that's given me the path for putting into Claude, which is analytics-mcp.exe. So that's what you need to take a note of. And what do is copy that, so Control C, and put it into a note, and just save that. Save that. So that is all good. The next task is to create a Google Cloud account. So we'll paste in console.cloud.google.com. If you've not created an account already, you will need to do that and add billing so that you can use the service. I've already got a Google Cloud account for Conversion Uplift Limited, so that's already done, and we've configured it for billing. So you just need to follow the steps to create the account if you haven't got one, and make sure you add billing. And then the next thing would be to create a Google Cloud project. So to do that, click on your organization, and then in the top right hand corner click on new project, and here you need to give it a descriptive name. So it could be a GA4 MCP connection or something similar to that. Make sure you've got your organization selected, and you would create that. We've already created an account, so I'm not going to do it in this instance. Once you've created an account and you go to Google Cloud, you'll now find that it's a project in your list. So here we can see MCP Analytics Connection is what I set up earlier. So just select that on from the drop down. And then we go to APIs and services. And in the search, we want to look for Google Analytics Admin. Admin API. There we go. And we want to select that. And normally it would say enable. We've already enabled it, so you just enable it. We've done that, so that's great. Then we want to search for another API. So let's go back to that, and this time it's Google Analytics Data API. So just select that, and again you would see it would say enable. You just click on enable, and that would set that up. We've already got it set up, so that's why it says manage. So that's all good so far. To create the service account, we need to go to I am admin. So just click on the menu and want to select service accounts. So just try that again. There you go, service accounts. We've already got one for MCP, but you may well need to create a new one if you haven't already got one. If you've already got one from another device, you would be able to use the same service account. To create a new service account, which you'll need to do, click on create service account, give it an appropriate name, so such as MCP server. The ID is automatically set up, and then you also need to give it a description such as GA4 MCP server, and then you would click on create and continue, and you'd see the permissions separately, but you would set them up another time, and then you click done. So actually I won't do that because we've already got a service account, but that is essentially it in terms of creating the service account. And then that will create an email address, so you copy that because you'll use that for giving access to GA4 properties. To create the JSON key, click on the account to see the details, then click on keys tab, and we want to go to add a key essentially, and we want to create a new key. Use the key type JSON and then create, and the key will automatically be downloaded to your machine. So we'll put it into downloads for the moment, and we'll change the name to, let's just select that. So we want the .json to remain, and we'll just press backspace, and we want to call it without any spaces GA4, and then it's dash MCP .json. We can just save that in the downloads. The next thing we need to do is create a folder on the C drive with no spaces. So we'll just create a new folder and call it keys. And then we want to go back to our downloads, find the MCP key that we just saved. So it's the GA4 MCP JSON. We can either cut it or copy it. Let's cut it and go back to our new folder on the C drive called keys, and we just paste it into there. So that's the key. The next task is to give access to the GA4 property. So we'll go to our GA4 property and go to admin, and then we go to property access management, and you just need to copy the service account email address that you created earlier. So go back to the service account if you need it to copy it, and you just click on the plus, add user, just as if it's a normal email address, paste it in, set it as viewer, that's sufficient, and add, and that's it essentially. So you've then added them to the service account to the GA4 property. You'll have to do it manually for each GA4 property that you want to access. So bear that in mind. So make sure you've got it copied somewhere that you can easily access. The next task is to set up MCP in Claude Desktop. So go to your Claude Desktop app if you've not already got it, or download it. So we'll go to here, and then we need to go to File. So main menu, File. We need to go to Settings, and then it's Developer, and then it's Edit the config. Now, if there's nothing in your config at all, you can paste the whole script in, no problem. Okay, Edit config, and that will show you the file, and we just open that up. As you can see, we've got quite a lot of script in there here already. So what you can do is ask Claude to help you make sure you put it in the right place if like us, you've got scripts already in the config. So what Claude has suggested to us is that we go to the third bracket down, put a comma there, and then we paste the script in that we've made sure we replaced the command path with the correct path where our MCP file is. So that's the key thing. And we've saved the key, the JSON key, in this folder, which we've done. So as long as that is correct, then that's fine. But you, as I say, a good idea if you're having to add script to existing script is to check with Claude itself that it's correct before you save it. So we'll do that. So I'll just go away for a second and just confirm that. Once you're happy that the script is correct, you need to go to File. So don't use the X to close the window. So you need to go File and then Exit. Okay. So on checking with Claude, we discovered that the command line wasn't quite correct. We needed 2 backslashes in here. We only had single ones, so that's correct. He's also noticed that we need to add the project ID, so that also needs to be corrected. So what I'm going to do is just go back to Claude. So I'll just pull File, Exit, and then if we bring Claude up, close that down. So it's got the project ID, which is Google Project ID, which is the MCP analytics connection. So that's what we need to replace it with. So it's Google Project ID. So copy that. So we'll go back to the main menu, File, go to Settings, then it's Developer, then it's Edit Config, then it's Open it again. So we need to replace the project ID here with this. And what I'll do is take a screenshot of it, or you can take a copy of, screenshot probably sufficient actually. So if we do that, we can just ask Claude to check it again, to double check it's all correct before we go off and try it out. So it's one of the beauty of AI, isn't it? Is you can ask it to check your work as you go. So we will save it, as in we'll exit, and then we will go back to Claude. So we're going to close that off and check this, and let's see if that looks correct now. Both fixed are in place. So yeah, it's added double slashes, it's replaced the placeholder. So everything's looking good then. So we don't need to go back in a further time, but certainly until Claude actually confirms that the script is completely correct, I would continue to follow the guidance to get it right. So I've just put the full script into Claude just to double check it, and I did wonder actually, because there were 5 braces at the bottom, and I thought, well, actually that was 4 before, so it has confirmed that is incorrect. So I need to go back in to Claude, into the config, to change that. So I will do that now, and then that should be everything. So it's file, settings, developer, edit config, and then go into that, and we just remove one of those, and then it's file, exit, and that should be correct. But if you're not certain, again, copy and paste the whole script into Claude, ask it to confirm that it's correct. So the next thing is to obviously test it. So to relaunch, we need to go to file and exit rather than closing it down using the X. So we can now search for Claude, reopen the app. Now, when I went to validate it initially, I couldn't see the analytics as a connector. So if you click on the plus and then hover over connectors, you can see here analytics-mcp, but that was not showing initially. So I had to go back to the file, the config file. So I went to file, settings, and developer. And when I went to the config, so that's the edit config, and I opened it, it came up with a message saying, would you like to keep the changes? So it obviously not saved the changes properly. So what I did is I did a file save. So it kept the file name as the same, but it made sure I saved all the details. So I think file exit doesn't always seem to work. So I would use file save, provided you've checked the script that it's all present and correct. So yeah, this looks slightly different actually from what, but maybe it's changed itself. But anyway, it is working now. So that's what I would suggest, is particularly if you're not seeing the MCP analytics in the connectors, which you should here. So if you go to connectors and hover over it, you should see analytics MCP, which I'm now seeing. So that's something to bear in mind, is if you have that problem, make sure that you go back to the file and maybe do a save once you've checked the script. And say you can just keep pasting it into Claude for it to check it. There is also this website here which paste it in there. It's called JSON.com. That will verify that your JSON script is correct, but generally Claude can do that anyway, but it's certainly a useful tool to know about. So that is all working so good so far. So as a final test, just to check, is we can ask it which GA4 properties it has access to. Now, I don't want to show all our client accounts, so I'm just going to restrict it to which conversion uplift properties. So which conversion, so I have actually 2 GA4 properties, a GA4 live site and a test property. But if you wanted to ask it for all the properties, that GA4 properties that it has access to, and it will provide you a full list, which I've already done, and it gave a good list of a lot of our client accounts. So that's really it. So I hope you found that useful. I think the good thing is that yes, we've had a few issues along the way, but using AI in particular and using Claude, it allows us to solve those fairly quickly. But now that you've got it set up, make sure you add it to all your client properties or your own GA4 properties, and start using it, start testing it. It's great for doing things like audits as well as analytics, analyzing data very speedily, particularly if you've got a specific issue that you could ask it to investigate. So I hope you found that useful, and I'll be doing more videos on AI related topics soon.